Hey everyone, how you guys doing? Raul here with another update. So I don't know what happened to the footage of when I did the seeding and stuff like that, but I'm gonna remake the intro so that way I could put it together with the video. But I want to show you the type of spreader I use, and then also give you some more information on the process that went down and explanations why I did it and why I chose to do it that way. So stay tuned. Okay, so first off, to begin this video, I show you a couple of pictures of the seed and how I laid the seed also on the soil. I did go heavy-handed. So they do recommend about 2 to 3 pounds per thousand sometimes. My property in the front is a hair under 1,000 square feet, and you guys will be shocked by this, but I went about close to almost 4.5 to 5 pounds per thousand. And the reason why I do that is because I have better success rate on a faster fill-in for the lawns. I've done this many times. I've done it on my front lawn. I've done it on many other lawns. And it's just through experience that I've had. I know when you lay seed at a certain rate, it fills in and stuff like that, but nobody's got time for that fill-in rate. You got to keep in mind too, I'm no expert. I'm just going off, my own little personal studies. Now I do keep little cups and stuff like that. I always do testing on seeds, and maybe I should post videos on that, but I haven't. So what I normally do is whenever I do a seeding, I always get, a little cup, put soil, put some seeds in. So you put down 50 seeds, let's say only 20 of them germinate from the seed heads popping up a little sprout. It's nothing scientific. It's just how I do it, how I do my little research. It's just things that I do. Now, I do that pretty much for all my projects. And just to give me an example of what to expect, like, okay, so this one, the cup is already starting to sprout, so I should be having sprouts on my lawn too. If it's not, something's going on. The other thing too is I always use that cup after for little experiments as far as like herbicides, pesticides, stuff like that, testing it, see if it'll burn, see how it'll hold up. Of course, after it grows in the cup, I'll transfer it to something a little bit more bigger to give it more of a characteristics of a lawn. Not close, I know, but that's the best I can do with my resources. The other thing too is I go heavy-handed because it just fills in quicker. You'll see in my video, I still have to post. I'm running a little bit behind. I'm still busy with a lot of stuff, but you'll see that it's just a lot more fuller, and you'll see that and you'll understand why. If let's say you put down 2 pounds per thousand and the seeds are all spread out, of course it'll germinate and of course it'll fill in. But when you got a lot more seeds closer together and you just give it the proper nutrients, there's a lot more filling in going on and it gets a lot thicker faster. That's what happened with the front yard when I did the Kentucky bluegrass with perennial ryegrass. I went heavy on both seeds and it just came up thick and lush, and the only problem I had was when they dug up that pipe. And I'm gonna just be happy that it's just gonna be all one grass type, Bermuda, and go from there. I do like all the other grass types. I have nothing against them. I mean, Kentucky bluegrass is beautiful grass. Perennial ryegrass, it has its pros, it has its cons. The one grass that I did have also was turf type tall fescue. I liked the dark rich green color of it. I liked how it could be such a tall grass. When you mow it, it stripes really nice. But I just have a lot of traffic, people walking their dogs, and I always had burned out spots. So that wasn't a grass good for the front. The other grass is like Kentucky bluegrass, Bermuda grass. Bermuda grass I have in the back. I love it. It's very durable. I mean, you don't have to water it and it's still there. I mean, depending where you're at though. I mean, don't take my word for it. Don't go and not water your lawn. That's your choice. But like I said, I didn't take care of it for about 3-4 months, and the grass was still kind of green. It was still holding on, but like I said, that's why I just pushed to go with the Bermuda. That's my choice. So yeah, stay tuned. Let me give you a few little updates. Let's pull out the spreaders and let me explain something to you guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, now for the spreaders. So I have these two spreaders here. This one right here is gonna be the drop spreader. This is basically a broadcast spreader. I use this one mostly for medium-sized lawns. You know, usually I use that one out on my lawn for the most part. This one will be for like the larger properties that I do projects on, and I have a few modifications I've done to that for certain things. The other thing that I want to mention to you guys is for another spreader, and that's gonna be this one right here that I just recently picked up, which is a Scott's Wiz spreader. It has edge guard on it, and the one thing I'll tell you guys about the spreader is it's handy for smaller yards, especially for, you know, applications to like garden beds, stuff like that, overseeding, seeding, spreading fertilizer. And I'm saying like this is good for smaller yards, not big yards. You can use it for big yards, but you're gonna fill it up more than once, I'll tell you guys that. So one thing to keep in mind with this one, it's battery operated. It has a good range of settings on it, but if you're very aggressive with this edge guard, it will fall off. This is the second one. I had to return the other one because the other one, it's just open it, close it, open, close it. If you're not gentle with it, it's gonna come out of place and it doesn't go back to the way it was factory. I'm probably gonna do a couple modifications to this one also, because I like to mess with stuff after stuff ain't made right. But other than that, this is a good spreader. I've been using this one lately for fertilizers, seeding, stuff like that, and it's just a lot more precise. The only thing is, sorry I haven't cleaned this one up, because I did some stuff on the backyard, and you guys will see a video that I'm going to be posting on that. When you are spreading product, whether it's seed, fertilizer, or pesticides, or anything like that, you do get a buildup here on the broadcast, you know, not inside the hopper, but the broadcast part. And if you angle it down, it'll fall out. And that's because it's building up like towards the back part of it, and it's not distributing evenly. So you got to be careful, especially if you're putting fertilizer. So what I found is when I'm spreading stuff, I'll have it angled down and with the trigger on. If you're holding it level and you're spreading it, you're gonna get a buildup in the back. So that's why in the pictures or video I post with when I seeded the front yard, you'll see little sections where it really dropped down heavy because I kind of angled it and it just fell out. But hey, it doesn't matter, it's seed, no big deal. But I just want to give you guys some information on this. Now, out of all three of the spreaders, I've been finding myself, if it's a smaller yard or nothing too serious, I've been finding myself just to carry this one with me, or, you know, using this for around the house a lot more than anything else. So if you are in the market for, you know, a pretty cool spreader that gets the job done, this is cool. They do actually have a manual one that you crank, and I haven't tried that one, but I've tried this one, and this is pretty cool. But the only thing is, pick up a pair of batteries, because these probably been sitting on the shelf, and the first one I got actually died after spreading some product. So the second one that I got is actually low on battery, so I have picked up a couple of sets of batteries that I'm just going to change it out, because this little rotary thing inside that, you know, spins inside actually is going very slow, and it's not throwing it far enough, and it's not accurate. So once you pop in the good batteries, then that thing changes and it goes fast. When I had laid out all the seed, what I tend to do is I go over everything with like a push broom, but lightly, so it actually spreads everything neatly. It does get spread neatly when you use a broadcast spreader, but certain areas, which I'll put a picture up, I think before this video, you'll see the little section where the seed was just thrown heavy right there. That's because I didn't want to use the spreader there, so I did it by hand. And then when I went over this with the push broom, it spread evenly. And then of course I laid some topsoil on it very lightly. Another thing too with the Bermuda, you don't want to go heavy with topsoil. Don't cover it, because the more soil you put on the seed, I've noticed that it takes longer to germinate. Now the only downfall about seeding and putting some sort of peat moss, topsoil, or anything on top is if you go light with the soil or anything on top, you will have to water it more often. You don't want the seed to dry up. So I've been keeping the soil wet, and it's been working out as planned. So that's the other thing I want to keep you guys updated with. Don't go heavy with the soil unless you don't plan on watering it often, but the germination rate is going to be a lot slower. If you go lighter with the soil, it's going to germinate a lot quicker, but also keep in mind that you're going to be watering a lot more often. And then another tip I want to give you guys is when you're seeding, if it is something you're working on, this doesn't really make a big deal, but if you do like a kill off on a lawn or anything, and there's no nutrients there, and you don't prep the soil any days before that, there are other measures you can take to just make sure you're going to get proper nutrition to the soil. But one thing I want to tell you guys, just to cut it short, is basically the day before you plan on seeding, just water the soil, get it ready for the next couple of days before you're going to plan on doing the seeding, and then maybe sprinkle a light fertilizer in while you're doing that watering, so that way when you go ahead and do the seeding, the fertilizer already has a chance to start breaking down and getting into the soil. I found that very useful for helping the germination rate of seeding. I know I'm not a professional, but I'm just telling you guys my experience. And then of course, once you lay the seed down and you top dress it, or if you choose not to top dress it, of course you're going to put your starter fertilizer or a fertilizer mix of your choosing, and then of course water it in, and then stay constant for the next 2 weeks. You want to get at least 3 to 4 waterings in, depending on if you went heavy on the topsoil or if you went light on the topsoil and how hot it is outside. When I did my seeding, it's been about, I want to say, anywhere from 80 degrees to 82, 83, around there. It's been jumping around, and then we had a couple of cooler days after that. But other than that, yeah, I mean, just stay on top of it. These are just a few little tips that I just want to share with you guys. And hopefully you guys are satisfied. Oh, the sun's coming out. Let me move. Hopefully you guys are satisfied, with the quality of footage. I'm trying to do my best here. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't know what happened. I must have not pressed record, and I thought I was recording. But on the footage that I lost was just me spreading the seed, covering it with the topsoil, but of course, using the push broom method that I was telling you, just to kind of lightly go over the seed, just so it's kind of like even and not just thrown down in certain sections. But yeah, that's why I'm making this intro and putting it into this video. But stay tuned, I have more content for you. I'm running a little behind. You guys will get caught up as far as where I'm at right now. So stay tuned, keep mowing, growing, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.